wizard would like to renew their membership.
chance, and more chance.
This are not thine elder matriarch station.
Hello everybody. Romans, thank you so much. Thank you for renewing your support for the Great Library. Very much appreciated. Here is your library card. Get you your stamp. Boom. Look at that. 75 months. 75 months. That is crazy. Really appreciate you. It is looking absolutely amazing. Alright, here is Mr. Rayner in his current status, his current build. Really, the only thing that we really need to do on himself is the Rayner's Rattler, that snake free hand, that rattlesnake skeleton free hand. Ooh, what is that? Okay, it's just some debris. And then, of course, he's got some battle damage over here that we need to address. Yeah, it keeps going out of focus. There's some battle damage over here that we need to address as well. So a couple of different ways that we can do that. So let's get some paint out. Even though I still have paint on my wet palette from last stream, it's been a few days, and so it is going to have developed a skin over it. If it's still any part of it's still wet at all, that'll be underneath a dried skin of paint, and if you mix all that up, then you're going to get chunks of that dried skin of paint in your pool of paint, and that can quickly make its way onto the model, which is non-ideal. So even though we still have wet paint, we're not going to use it. We're going to get some new paint out. Okay. So here's where Jim is, and let's come in here over to the see, the battle damage is gonna be, that should actually be in like steel and stuff, shouldn't it? Shouldn't be in grays, it should be in the steel. So that means I need to pull out more colors for steel, and we're gonna try and get this to look right. Now this could be very, very difficult because these are fairly irregular cuts or gashes in the armor. They are claws, obviously, from Tyranids. Not Tyranids, from Zerg. My goodness. They're the same thing, right? Yeah, they're the same thing. I'm kidding. Very similar concepts, even potentially coming from the same inspiration source, or one acting as an inspiration for the other, but the way they operate is ultimately pretty different. Start that. Now these cuts in the armor are going to be reflecting light because it's cutting down through the armor plating and into the inner workings, or the core of the armor. So I want to make sure that I've got a decent idea of where the armor's getting peeled away. Also some damage over here. Let me make sure I've got this right with the raking light. Yeah, there's a little bit of damage. It's like here. Hey, Cookcrafter, how are you doing? Welcome on in. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Doing good. Been getting back into the wood shop with the weather warming up. Oh, excellent. That's awesome. Sir Terrence, biggest fan. Thank you so much. Yeah, so it is practice. There's a couple different things you can do. Let me show you. Let me zoom back out here so you can kind of see my hands a little bit more. So when I'm painting, I'm sitting at my desk, and and I've got the miniature mounted to like a cork or a soda bottle, or sometimes even a bigger handle, just so that I'm not cramping my hand. But then when I'm actually painting, I'm making sure both of my hands are touching one another. So I've got a pinky touching one of the fingers, or I've got the fingers touching the flesh of my palm. The hands are not separated. They're not free floating. They're always touching one another in some way, and that helps steady things out because they're kind of steadying each other that way. I'm also sitting with my elbows close into my chest, so my elbows aren't stuck out, and then my wrists are on the table itself. So I've got 3 different points of stabilization, and it's just, at this point, it's just practice. It's just like habit. So I've got those 3 points of stabilization, and then the brushes themselves, these are just normal watercolor brushes or acrylic brushes. This is a size 2, so it is certainly smaller than what like a lot of people will use in painting larger canvases. Usually have larger brushes for that, and then you use small brushes like this for really tiny details. Well, this is the standard brush size that I use for this because it's already tiny. So it's not like brushes just 1 or 2 hairs on the bristle or anything like that. These are just your standard watercolor brushes. Oh yeah, let's see. I have such respect for the miniatures painters. You're all in saying, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hey, good evening, Dream Big. How are you doing? How have I been? I've been well, Cookcrafter. Thank you. Work has not been too crazy this week, so I've been able to catch up on a lot of smaller, less high priority projects at work and things like that. So that's been nice. It's always nice to be able to catch up on stuff like that. But otherwise, we're just chilling, relaxing, putting together a few small miniature kits. I've been working on Kill Clock a lot lately. I'm trying to get the rules to a point where it's play testable, and hopefully I'll be able to start play testing with other people soon. So for those of you who don't know, Kill Clock is a miniature arena combat game that I'm working on, and I'm developing based on the Cyber Savage rule set. If you remember, I painted some Cyber Savage miniatures on stream a few months ago, and I've been continuing to look into that, and I've been working with the Cyber Savage developers, the guys that did that and published it, a couple brothers here in Portland, who are perfectly happy with me using their game system for my own game. And so I've been working on that a lot. I've been putting a lot of hours into writing and editing and formatting and thinking through new systems, things like that. So that's been eating up a large amount of my time, but it's been really, really satisfying. Not as much painting, just because I've been focusing on the Kill Clock stuff later at night, because I want to get that done. I've got kind of a goal to be able to start demoing it or start play testing with people early next month, and then hopefully do some more intensive playtest stuff and demoing in October at CritCon, and go from there. This is just, I'm not trying to like make money on the game or anything. I'm not developing the next best game or anything like that. I've had this idea in my head of doing a game that focuses on the Chrono Gladiator concept from Warhammer 40,000 for a long time, because I like the idea of scratch building gladiators and having them fight in a cyberpunk or cybernetic gladiators and having them fight it out before their bombs explode and they self-destruct. I think that's a really interesting, morbid idea, and I've been wanting to have a game like that, so I figured, hey, I might as well learn how to make a game. Let's see. Daniel, sorry if this question is too out of the blue, but have you ever used Viho Matte Primer? Yeah. Is it good for minis? First time painting one? Yeah, absolutely. Viho products are generally just fine for miniatures. Matte Primer is perfectly fine. Absolutely. Hey, Pikmin, how are you doing? Good to see you. Doing good. I'm making a dice tray that I'm going to be giving away. Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds really cool. So let's punch up the highlights on the upper portions here. So these upper portions of these rents in the armor, because the armor's kind of peeled upwards a little bit. I want to make sure that I've got those highlighted properly in line with the other highlights on the armor. That way that they appear like where the regular highlights are on the armor. I want these rents to be highlighted as well. Where they're in shadow, I don't want as much highlighting. Just so that the light reflects off of those tears in the armor in a predictable manner, or in a way that makes sense for the way the light is reading on the rest of the model. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Happy to answer any questions anybody has about miniature painting or what miniatures I'm painting or I'm working on, anything like that. Feel free. I think I'm kind of losing that as... I don't know if my highlights on the rents are too big, but these details are really, really small. That is what we're here for. We are here to answer questions as much as possible. So if you've been curious about miniature painting or you've got general questions at all, feel free to ask. It's the reason why I stream, is to answer questions and maybe encourage people in something that they're interested in. I think that looks like it's not looking like damage anymore. It was for a little bit, but I think I went a little too far with some of the brightness of the highlights. So let's glaze over these near white highlights with our neutral gray a little bit, just to knock them back a bit. That way the brightest parts of the highlights are actually, yeah, that looks a lot better. That way the brightest parts of the highlight are actually the areas that look like they're supposed to be exposed metal, as opposed to the areas that are above them, which is supposed to be like torn outer painted metal. Those highlights should not be as bright as actually the shiny reflective metal, and that's what was happening. I had the reflective metal down here shining, and then I had the highlight of the tears was really close in value to the reflective metal, so it didn't look right. So now I've calmed those highlights down a little bit with some neutral gray, so they're still highlighted. You can still see them there. There's still highlights of the damage, but the metal or the areas that are supposed to read as the torn, actual exposed metal, that's reflecting properly now. Hey, Chris Nihilus, how are you doing? Welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for dropping by. Okay, let's see. Pikmin, what have you been working on? What has everybody been working on lately? Still working on the Hangry Games Commission. 7 models left out of 26. Woo, making progress. I'm painting 40k mutilators right now. Oh, very cool. Now the mutilators. Those are the melee versions of the obliterators, right, Chris? Do they have new models yet? Have they come out with new models for them? I seem to remember them being teased. I seem to remember them being teased as new models. Yeah, I see some new models here, but I don't know if they're out yet. Okay. Are they out? Wow, I didn't think they were out yet. That's exciting. Because frankly, when they introduced those models, they were god-awful. They were horrible. I remember when they came out, and they were such a disappointment. Yeah, they are out. Oh, the Defiler's out too. Oh, man. That's cool. I'm so happy the Defiler has new models. Oh, are these coming out tomorrow? Because they're out. They're considered newly released in Japan, but I don't see them as. But they're still in pre-order on the U.S. site. Ah, that's interesting. Very cool. Got them advanced last Thursday. Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. Started my first Warhammer army, Ultramarines. Any tips on adding details while painting? Don't worry about details until you're towards the end of something. So like when you're painting your model, focus on the big color blocks first and then narrow in after you've done the big color blocks. So don't like, let's see, what's a good detailed model? So this Trench Crusade model, right? If I were to start this over again, I wouldn't worry about things like the belt buckle or even the belts until I've painted the armor underneath, and until I've painted like the scarf and the helmet. And then, as I'm painting, I'm working on the areas that are the innermost and the biggest and working outwards. So I'm working trying to work from the inside out as much as possible. Now on this model, you've got this cloth down here underneath his armor. I'd probably paint that later, but I'd take care of the armor first because that's the biggest area, and then I'd come in the smaller areas, and then I'd work on a layer outwards and start painting things like the belt or the cloak, and then farther out and do the belts, and then do the belt buckles and things like that. So I don't focus on painting the details until everything else is really well underway. Where's a good example? Where's another example? So here is a marine that I've just got primed at this point. Primed. So all the rivets and the belt and the cables and stuff, I'm not going to worry about any of those until I've started working on the armor in general, and then I'll start working on those. I want to make sure that I'm working on the bigger areas first, the areas that are going to have the most impact first, and then I'll start working on the details and get more and more focused as things are getting more and more completed. Now, as far as details go, if you're doing any kind of blending or anything, the smaller the detail is, the less you really need to blend it, unless you're going for competition stuff, because the smaller the detail, the less room you have to create convincing blends. So what's more important is that you get the effect that you're looking for, that you get those reflections in if you're doing metal, or if you get the highlight in if you're doing just a general small piece of cloth or something like that. Don't worry so much about blending or anything like that on really small areas. Focus on more of the light, and then you can blend a little bit if you want to, but that's probably a little bit farther on than you are right now, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, work on the big areas first, and then focus on the details later. Work on those later. Does that help? Also, dry fit. Dry fit everything. When you're assembling models, dry fit them, i.e. clean them up, put them together without any glue. Make sure the pieces fit together, and you're cleaning things up to minimize gaps as much as possible. Once you know how two pieces work fit together, and you're confident that's how they fit together, then glue them. Don't try to figure out how pieces fit together while there's glue on them. That can cause you to panic or try and go too fast, and that can cause mistakes. So yeah. Wow, what base color did you do for this? Just black. This is Pro Acryl Coal Black. So Pro Acryl Coal Black is the base color, and then we started mapping out the highlights with dark neutral gray, and then we intensified the highlights with neutral gray, and then because I didn't want the highlights to be too bright, the last highlight was a mix of neutral gray and bright neutral gray. It still bugs me that they spell gray in the English spelling, and it's an American company. We're not British. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, everybody knows what it means, but in America you spell gray with an A, and in England you spell it with an E. Generally speaking. It's like armor versus armor with a U. Just different, but I don't know why that bugs me. It's just like it does. Black can be so hard to get right. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Black can be very difficult, and the key that we did here is that we tried to keep all of the surfaces that should read as black at least 50% black, if not more. As soon as gray takes over more than 50% of a surface, it starts reading as gray. Or even if it gets close to 50% gray coverage over black, it starts reading as gray instead. So the key with black, at least with this guy, the key with black was trying to keep as much of each surface black as possible, and then work on, just focus on smaller highlights. That way it still reads as black, just kind of like a shiny black. And same thing with white. White can be very, very difficult to get to continue to read as white rather than a different color. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. that I'm just not any good at. So, you know, I stick with black for now. Okay. So we did the battle damage over here. I'm kind of surprised there's not more battle damage on him, but they did the shoulder battle damage. So now we can focus, or try to focus, on the freehand. Do you think this model would be tough to magnetize the arms for different loadouts? No, not at all. So in fact, I don't even have it glued in. It's a friction fit. So you could do the magnets here in the wrist, because there's just there's a stud here that you could either remove this or drill into this and put a magnet there, and then there's another one here, and you could do the same thing here. And then the Rainer himself has slots that those go into in both wrists, so you could embed magnets in there. It's not necessarily going to be super easy, but you could do those. Now, the other thing is, the other weapon that he comes with, the assault rifle, doesn't fit into this pose. So if they ever release extra models or extra parts that you fit into this pose, then yeah, you could magnetize this. But what you would really have to magnetize is the arms, the shoulders. So you'd magnetize the gun so it can take off, then you'd magnetize the arms. And those wouldn't be terribly difficult to do. Yes, Spliff, that's what we're planning on doing next. We're looking at nervously looking at painting the rattlesnake next. Now the thing is, where do we want to put the rattlesnake? Because this model, it should be on this shoulder. From all the art that I'm seeing, it should be on this shoulder. And it's generally right in here, right? It's right in here. It's kind of got a loop here, but this is there's so much like movement in the volume that I'm a little worried that it's not going to look good. In a lot of the art and stuff, these shoulder pads are a lot smoother. They're a lot flatter, and not as much, I don't know, topographical detail, I guess. Okay, let's see. So, what can we do here? Let's start out with let's just start out with gray. And generally the rattlesnake starts up here and then curls around and then comes into here. I am super nervous. I'm not looking forward to this at all, frankly. Gonna be a lot of cleanup. Now it's okay, because even if I am nervous, that's fine, because I know that I can fix whatever issue pops up. Because I've had enough practice fixing screwed up paint jobs that I've done myself. So I know that I can fix whatever I run into. This curves up over the head and then comes curling down around. Curling over the head, down around, and then and it makes a sharp turn here and then comes up. Yeah. Almost like an S. don't know if I left enough room here. Is this a one-off model, or are you building the army for this game? I might. I'll certainly be painting more of the army. I don't know if I'll actually be playing the game. I don't play very many big games anymore. But I've watched a couple battle reports, and it seems pretty straightforward. I like some of the concepts in the game. I like things like playing cards down or choosing cards for your army that act as like the buildings in the game. So if you have those cards in your upgrades, then your units have those upgrades as if you built the buildings in the game or in the computer game. I like that concept. That's really cool. It's an interesting way to incorporate the base building feel and getting the upgrades from the base building into a tabletop game. But I just don't know if I'm gonna spend a lot of time playing it. I definitely want to paint more of the Terrans. I've got the whole 2-player starter set, so I do want to do that. I don't know about how much of the Zerg I want to paint. Obviously Kerrigan. I have to paint Kerrigan. Oh, I don't like that. I think this should come farther down, not have such an arch to it. We're gonna go with gray here. Smooth some of this out. Lower the arch a little bit. It's better. It's not awful. It's not great, but it's not awful. I don't freehand a whole lot, so this is good practice. Okay. So now let's take our neutral gray. Like, I definitely want to paint the Terrans, the Marines. I definitely want to paint the medics. I definitely want to paint the Marauders. What I'd really want to paint are fire bats, but they didn't include fire bats in the game, which made me sad. So I'm hoping they do that eventually. Oh man, this is not. I don't like the way this is going. Yeah, the one model I really wanted to paint other than Jim and Kerrigan were fire bats. And I guess fire bats, I don't quite remember, but I guess fire bats didn't feature very heavily in the Starcraft 2, which is what this is primarily based off of. Which is sad. I thought fire bats were the best. Yeah, I made this way too compact. It's for my ability, for my brush control ability, I can't quite get this. It's gonna be a lot of back and forth, a lot of cleanup to try and sharpen these out and make them look better. my understanding, this happens with freehand a lot. Is there's a lot of like working out the primitive, kind of the primitive shapes, and then cutting those out by painting back over them. So like I painted those spines very big and chunky, and then I come back in with darker paints to neaten them up and narrow them. Now really what this should be doing is this outer curve here should be in alignment with the bottom part of the head, and it's not. So what I'm going to try and do is go back over this. I need to let that dry. And then this out here should be my outer edge for that curve. So if I extend the curve out more, it's going to be a lot closer in spacing to the actual artwork that I'm referencing. Sorry, it's hard to keep this. It's hard to keep the it in. It's hard to keep in camera while I'm trying to. Oops. While I'm trying to do really precise painting here. I went a little too far up. I connected the wrong thing, so this should be connected out to here. It's a little bit better. I was looking to get the Artanis model, but no interest in Protoss, really. Yeah, I totally understand that. I don't really have any interest in Protoss either. And Artanis model didn't really do a lot for me, and that's fine. What I really wanted to, I really just wanted to get Jim and Kerrigan, but buying them separately, while it is an option, buying them separately was going to be like $90. Because the boxes that the boxes those models come in were set $45 each. And so it's just like, well, I know I want to do the rest of the Terrans eventually, and the Zerg would be kind of cool, and I get a copy of the rules so I could at least read the rules. Okay, I'll buy the 2-player starter set. They got me. The frustrating thing right here is I've got the proportions all wrong. Because the largest spine, or the largest rib spines, are right in here, and I've got the shortest ones in here. So this inner curve is all wrong. It needs to be tighter. A tighter curve, which is going to be difficult. But we're going to paint over that and then go back in. And this is, this is free. Lots of freehand is very much, well, that didn't work, so start over. It's in my limited experience. So I'm making this curve much smaller here. That way I've got more room over here. It's going to be harder to read, but I think it's going to give us a little bit more room for the larger spines, because I want the feel. I'm not trying to get like perfect, but I want the feel to be accurate. I want people to look at this and know what it is, rather than, oh, that seems like a nice try, but it's not anything close to what the real thing is. That's better. And so what this will let me do is make these ribs larger. These rib bone markings larger, so that that's more accurate to the actual art. And then I can come in with my dark gray and cut some of this in a little bit more. That looks a lot more like it. Certainly more more cleanup work to be done, brightening things up a bit. Let's see, there's a couple areas that, like, this curve in here is causing that to seem connected, and it shouldn't be, so I'm going to separate that out a little bit more. And there's a spine here that needs to be extended out a little bit, just so that it reads there as more than just a little nub. Okay. I know I keep going off screen. I apologize for that. That looks okay. Actually looks okay. Okay, so I need to make the head a little bit bigger here somehow. know I'm very, very quiet right now. It's just because I am locked in pretty hard. How do I achieve micro detail like the serpent you did? Holding your breath a whole lot. Then praying a great deal. That's what I've been doing. Holding my breath, saying, please, Jesus, let me get this right. But then also being willing to go back over and like, yep, that doesn't look right. I need to go backwards and redo this. So I've redone the curve a couple times. So initially, this curve up here was too tall, so I lowered it and had to repaint this curve. Out here, I've had to redo these rib bones a lot. This was too shallow at first. It curved in like this, so I had to repaint that and did that. You got to be willing to go back and it's like, yep, this doesn't work, and then fix it. And then technique wise, you do the kind of the primitive shapes, and then you cut in smaller details. Like when I did these ribs, they weren't this sharp. I did general shapes with like 2 brush strokes, and then I came back in with my dark gray and I neatened up each one a little bit to make them appear sharper. So, you know, you're not doing everything all at once. You are coming in and making a primitive shape and then refining that with other paints, going back over things and repainting it. And then reference material. I've got multiple pictures of this art piece and different both in-game and out-of-game art renderings of Jim Raynor with this art piece on his shoulder. And I've been looking at those for like, okay, you know, this outer curve is in line with the, this curve down here is in line with the head. So I messed that up first, so I had to fix that. This upper arch, it goes above the head. So I made sure that, you know, I've got reference points based on the artwork of where these things should be and kind of what size they should be and in relation to one another. But it is it's a lot of work. It's kind of stressful. It's been kind of stressful, but I think it looks okay. It's not perfect by any means. Oh, you're in the middle of Starcraft 2 ranked grinding right now. Best of luck with that. I like watching Starcraft ranked matches. They're really interesting. Usually have them on the background when I'm watching them. I'll also watch like Planetary. I used to watch Total Annihilation ranked too, but they've got a couple replacements for that now. But Starcraft 2 ranked and Starcraft 1 ranked has always been interesting. Okay, we got a break coming up in 5 minutes. Ever the campaigns? Yeah. No, I actually just re-downloaded both of them through BattleNet, StarCraft 1 and 2, and I'm gonna start through the campaigns all over again because the miniature game just came out, and I kind of want to refresh myself into the vibe of the world and everything. It's been at least 10 to 15 years since I've played either campaign. Do you think Raynor survived at the end of the... Absolutely. No one... You can't kill Raynor. Or Kerrigan. Yeah, no worries. No worries. You know, maybe he didn't, but I have faith he did. I have faith. I can't do the full detail of the Rattler, so we just did 3 little sections there for the Rattler. The actual art has those sections split down the middle, just like a real rattlesnake, and I'm not painting that. That would be insane. That's what I say. They lived and lived happily ever after. Sweet that you're painting them. Aw, thanks. I also have Kerrigan. I haven't started painting her yet, so she's an upcoming project. But we've spent several streams painting Jim here. Okay, 2.5 minutes before. Got any old world miniatures? Sure. I mean, I've got miniatures set in the old world. I don't play the old world, nor do I play Age of Sigmar or 40k anymore. I have minis from all of them, and they fit within those settings. So, but you're not going to see like a block of rats or anything like that. I do want to get some Catholic. These are in progress that I need to get back into, but here's a Flagellant. He's going to be for a Mordheim warband. A warband of witch hunters, and some of these are from Hexbane from Warhammer Underworlds, but they're all going to be witch hunters for Mordheim. Here's the witch hunter himself. Again, they're all in progress, various stages of progress. I like this guy a lot. Him and his giant mustache makes me very happy. And then, for when I want to, they've got an ogre, hireable ogre bodyguard. This is not a GW model. This is an MOM model that I picked up at a Bits trade a long time ago, and I figured, hey, he looks awesome. I just got a couple Nurgle ones, and they're fun to paint. Yeah, Nurgle is a lot of fun to paint. Nurgle's a ton of fun. Let's see. Do I have anything from Nurgle up here? No, almost all of my finished stuff is in my display cabinet. This is a War Chieftain. It's from Age of Sigmar. But this is the first miniature I spent 50 hours painting. I just kept on working on him. Thanks. And then this isn't the old world, this is 40k, but this was my Golden Demon piece for this year. Those are some great models. Really like how you painted them. It looks fantastic. Hey, thank you so much. Oh, break time. Like that blue? Yeah, me too. Thanks. Appreciate that. All right. Sorry, everybody. We have to take a really short break. I don't want to miss my scheduled break, just because if I do, then I get all weird. So we're going to be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to get some water, use the bathroom. I recommend you guys do as well. We will be back. Thanks. We worked really hard on that, so I'm very, very proud of it. So we're going to leave him here with his buddy Rainer. Oh no, Rainer, what happened? You got knocked down by a space dwarf. We're going to leave him there, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Okay, we're back. Thank y'all for your patience. So I think that freehand is done. Well, this is done as I'm capable of getting it with the amount of work that I want to put in. I'm sure we could do more, but I don't really want to. Which is a unfortunate admission that I was just like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. There are things that you kind of have to, is like, well, I could put my all into this, or I could just paint it up to where I'm relatively happy with it and leave it be, and that's what we're doing. Relatively happy. At that point, we're just gonna let her be. Am I making a Terra Necromunda team? That's a cool idea, but no. Ad breaking screen. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Being able to just stop when stopping is necessary is a skill on its own. I'm finding, yeah, it absolutely can be. Because, like, I know I could keep refining this. I know I could keep working on this. And there's a couple things that I definitely want to do, like for the lights on the chest, things like that I definitely want to keep working on, like get those to look okay. But it's kind of like I've got so much stuff to paint, not just from Adepticon, but just in general, that I can't spend 100 hours on every model. I have to say, okay, this is enough. I have to be able and willing to do that. So we're gonna switch over to the lights on his chest. Yeah, I gotta stay sane, absolutely. So yeah, the freehand, pretty happy with that, honestly. That ended up working out a lot better than I was worried it would. I thought there was going to be a lot more difficulty with the topography of the shoulder pad, but ended up no. So that's great. Next thing we're going to do is these lights on his chest are a very light blue, so we're gonna start with that here. We're gonna start with just a regular blue in here. We're gonna have that spill out a little bit. But we need to have dark around it. Still need to have dark around it. Lighter blue. So we're not anywhere close to being done just yet. I'm going to take some white blue here and mix that in with some sky blue. See if this works or not. I honestly don't think it's going to. Kind of works. I have a question. What is it that you're painting? I am painting a miniature of Jim Raynor, which is a character from the video game Starcraft and Starcraft 2. And the reason I'm painting him is because there's a tabletop miniatures game that was just released based on Starcraft and Starcraft 2 called the Starcraft Miniatures game. And I grew up playing Starcraft and Starcraft 2 when I was much, much younger. And they hold a special place in my heart. And Jim Raynor is kind of like the human protagonist character in that series. So he's got kind of a special place emotionally in my childhood. So I wanted to paint him and Kerrigan. We'll be painting Kerrigan later. But Kerrigan is a former human who became Queen of the Zerg. And she is Jim's love interest throughout the entire series. And I am convinced that Kerrigan loves Jim as well, but she can't let herself express that or act upon it because of her responsibilities to the swarm and keeping humanity and the galaxy safe from the swarm and the swarm safe from the galaxy. But I'm convinced that she loves Jim. That's the romantic in me. Oh, that's sick. The mini looks dope. Is it like Warhammer 40k? Yeah, in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. There is some history there where Starcraft was theoretically originally supposed to be a Warhammer 40 game, a Warhammer 40k game, but then the license got pulled. I don't know how accurate that actually is, but that's kind of the urban legend. That Starcraft was originally supposed to be a Warhammer 40k game, but the license got pulled deeper into development, so they had to kind of like redevelop everything into their own IP in order to save the project, and thank God they did. But yeah, the game is played in many ways. It's very similar to into Warhammer 40,000 in terms of the way the game is played. There's a lot of differences as well, but generally, it's very similar to one another. Like both players control armies of miniatures. You both roll in dice to see, you know, what happens when you make an attack or things like that. Okay, yeah, I thought so, but I'm not. I'm not gonna lie. His armors look better than your average Space Marine armor. You're not wrong. Like, he's definitely got a very cool aesthetic. We can actually. Where's a good example? Yeah, there's certainly similarities, big shoulder pads, big stompy feet, things like that. But whichever one appeals to your aesthetic preferences the most is the one that you're gonna go for, and that's perfectly fine. I think they both look awesome. Ooh, sorry, I almost lost. Painting is insane. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really enjoy the painting. Love the rugged look. Thank you. Okay, so we need to look at his gun and okay, so those lights the light would be hitting back here, would be hitting the back of the gun. But the gun is more in front of the model, or is in front rather than behind, so this would be maybe a little blue. Maybe not quite as blue. I do want this to show up. I gotta mix down some paint here really thin. I think that's probably wrong. I'm completely off camera. Oh my god. Okay, so that light is going to be coming down. Okay, I need, because those areas of metal are sitting right in front of a couple of lights, then the highlight, the reflected light there would be incredibly bright. So we're going straight to pure white. I'm in two places at once. Oh, hey, Pikmin. Me alone in my medieval fantasy D&D world. Oh, it's all good. It was cool having a conversation with you. Hope your painting session goes well. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Sorry, I was kind of locked in here for a second. Good evening, all. How's everyone doing? Finish up Jimbo. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I'll show you here in just a second. We got so the battle damage done, the freehand done, and now I'm doing the super primitive, awful OSL that I only know how to do. That's like a big thing that I want to practice next to focus on is more OSL and try to really focus on that, because OSL, just like non-metallic metal, OSL is all about light, and if you can do one, you can do the other theoretically, because you understand more about the way light works on models, but it's the execution that I really want to practice. And because this model has a couple of chest lamps that are lit up, those lights would be reflecting onto this metal very, very brightly. So I'm trying to push those up. So here we are. This is where Jim is at the moment. So we did the battle damage over here, and then we just did the freehand for his rattlesnake up there, and now we're doing the lamps on his chest. Let's see, DD. Yeah, I've usually started it by now, but there hasn't been a whole lot of entries into the community spotlight, so I figured it's going to take less than 30 minutes to go through. So we'll start that in about 3.5 minutes. Do you use or like airbrushes, and how do you pick your colors for your pieces? Leet, that's a great question. I'm so sorry. All I can see is glowing blue nipples. Hey, I totally understand that. But, I mean, if he's ripped, then these would actually be his nipple covers, right? He's got removable nipple covers. That way he can... I'm not going there. That's as far as I'm going. But if this is where your nipples are on your body... I mean, okay, you are a unique individual. Let's see. Yes, I use airbrushes mostly for both priming, so I don't have to go outside to prime in bad weather. And then I'll also use it for varnishing models. There is more that I want to use an airbrush for. There's blending between layers with an airbrush that's really impressive that I want to figure out how to do. There's a bunch of other stuff that I want to figure out how to do as well with an airbrush, but it's a lot of work. And I haven't found a model that I really just want to try it on. I've got a couple ideas, but that's about it at the moment. So yeah, we'll do the community spotlight in about 2 minutes. Not that there's anything wrong with that. No, of course not. I'm kind of half lurking, half watching. I'm still halfling, I guess. Cleaning and rearranging the hobby desk after I got a silicone mat for the desktop. Oh, very cool. Very, very cool. Okay. That fine line turned out nice. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, I think Jim I think Jim is done. The only thing left to do is work on his base. Now I found a mold line that I missed that I had to clean up, so I'm gonna reprime that. But once we get his base done and get him mounted on the base, he'll be finished. He'll be done. So this is a good time to go over to Community Spotlight. Take a gander. Take a gander what people have been working on. Every Friday we try to do a Community Spotlight where earlier in the week I put out a call both on stream and in the Discord to say, hey, show us your, if you want to be featured in the Community Spotlight, show us your, post your works in progress in our Discord. We've got a couple spots for it specifically, and then also our completed projects area. So that we've got a few things people have posted here. Okay, perfect. So let me go in here and grab some of these. Okay, let's screen share. And then screen share. Why is my face still in there? No. Why am I muted? I don't remember muting myself. Did I mute I may have muted myself on that on that one. This is also from last week. Someone this was someone asking for some advice or some feedback on their non-metallic metal and or their progress on non-metallic metal, and this is definitely an improvement. I really like a lot of the way they've done the red, the gold, the power sword looks cool. It's just refining and blending are the only things that really did it. And then look at this nebula head. Oh, I loved this. This is really, really cool. Oh, all this feedback. Yeah, no, I'm just showing stuff off. I'm not giving feedback unless people ask for it. How you doing, Jay? Good to see you, man. Okay, and then of course we have a Quack Temptor Bread Knot by Dig Batty. This is, I believe this is from Such Wraith Lord Sick. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is from Epic Duck. This is a print from Epic Duck, which is just fantastic. If you don't know, Epic Duck is a fantastic painter and a really good sculptor. He does a lot of duck versions of models, and as an example, oh, that's the chibi. That's the chibi marine. I grabbed the wrong big head. Here is a work in progress Rainbow Warrior Duck Space Marine. So he's done all kinds of different ducks. He's done Chaos Ducks. Here's a Death Guard Duck. He's done Eldar Ducks. Done all kinds of cool stuff. So that's what, yeah, they're super, super adorable. So that is where this bread knot is from, and it's fantastic. Like egg shape, the duck, the duck feet, fantastic. Love it, and I really like this color too. That is really, really nice. You got a Tyranid duck, yeah, for a donation, excellent. Quack quack indeed. Dig Batty's also working on a what appears to be a prop for D&D. He said that this was 6 inches tall, and looks like maybe a kind of a love potion. Who knows? But we've got the clear effect up here, and then the actual potion in the bottle, in this cloudy bottle here. I really like this. I think this looks really cool. See, there you go. You could just print out. You could print out your props and then paint them, and then you've got, you know, custom miniature or custom painted props there. Here is for the spotlight and for feedback. Okay, so this is asking for feedback. I really like the color scheme of the black, the white, and the red. It's very striking. Love the roosters, love the chickens. That's cool. I don't even know what this is from. These are, oh my god. These are are these from Hunger Wars? Hangry Games, that's right, Hangry Games. Pikmin, are these yours? Was this your post? Yeah, it was. Yeah. So these are for the Hangry Games miniatures, which are basically like all the major fast food restaurants done in miniature form, and also some, I believe there's also some pop culture like the Scooby-Doo gang and things like that done in miniatures form. This is really, really cool. Colonel Sanders in his robo chicken feet. That's is that Ronald McDonald? Is that supposed to be Ronald McDonald back there? Oh, these look cool. Why did that stop? Colonel Sanders. I don't know who she is, but she's awesome. I don't recognize her. Dia de los Muertos. Face paint. That's Taco Bell? That's crazy. That's so cool. Yeah. Absolutely. Is that a piss stain on his feet, on his I love the stains over here, but is that a piss stain? That fits straight into this model. Yeah, it is. Oh my god. Keep him away from the rest of the food. Keep him away from the food. Oh. Ugh. That is gross. These look awesome, man. Part of the Taco Bell? Okay. Those look really cool. Great job with these. You said you've got 7 left out of the 29 it is? Is it? I can't get over the freehand on her face. This is absolutely fantastic. She looks amazing. 27. She looks amazing. Really, really nice. All of these look really good. Love Colonel Sanders here. But Taco Bell is my favorite so far. Colonel Sanders looks awesome. But yeah, like, she's fantastic. Her face is so striking. What is this stuff down here? What are these? That's gross. Yeah, I love her. I think she looks amazing. Really, really nice. This is just insanely cursed, and I love this too. This is Ronald McDonald. I'm pretty sure. That's just so cursed. I love it. It's really nice, but I still prefer Taco Bell. This is just, I don't even know what restaurant this represents. It's chicken with a red star. It's like what restaurant is that? What restaurant is that supposed to be? That's supposed to be KFC? Okay. I thought Colonel Sanders was KFC, or unless they've got like a multiple models per faction. Ooh, Nitro Spectres. What is that? Love the slime and the drool effect in the mouth. Love the skin. Love how you got that. It's going into red and purple and towards the extremities. Love that effect. This is horrifying. This looks like flayed skin, but it also looks like a giant boil. That is crazy. Same faction, 6 models per faction. Oh, okay. Love that. What is this? What model is this? What is this from, Nitro? I don't know what the sculptor is thinking. I don't know either, but it's horrifying. I love it. The stomach's on the outside. His insides are on the outside. Artisans Guild. Okay, I might need to pick this up because this would make a really cool. What size base is that? Is that a 25 mil? Is it a 32? Is it a 40? It looks like a 25, or a 32. I could be wrong. But I think this would make a really cool, like, neutral beast for kill clock. 32? Okay, yeah. Yeah, you could have a couple of these, like, as bio horrors that you release into the arena if things are getting a little dull. This would be fantastic for kill clock. I'll have to look that up. Okay, let's go over to completed projects. Do we have anything incompleted? 4-7. Okay. This is the most recent. Try to paint along with Vince Venturella's videos for this guy. Super fun. Nice. That's cool. I love these colors. The lava looks really cool. Definitely love the heat effects on it. Probably could be a little bit brighter in a couple of areas, but I'm just thinking out loud. I like that lava effect. The bright green with the different variations in the brightness, very cool. It's not just highlights, but it's also just different intensities. I like that a lot. The horns and the teeth look great. Love the super vibrant orange and gray against the green. That goes together really, really well. I like that a lot. That looks cool. Love the yellowy, the kind of the yellowy green in the wing membranes. Makes it, definitely gives it a different, because it's a different material, right? It's not flesh covered, like it's not bone covered in muscle and flesh, and therefore tougher flesh. It's really, really thin membranes of skin that light's passing through. So the color is going to be the same hue generally, but it's going to have a lot more light going through. It's not going to appear the same. So having this shift yellow, as the green is already very yellowish green, but having the wing membrane shift into yellow is really cool. It shows a change in material, not just the texture change in material, but the color indicates a change in material, and it also acts like light's going through it a little bit more, which would make sense for thin membranes on the wings. That looks fantastic. I like that a lot. Dead ground, nice tufts. Love the pink underneath. That's really cool. I like that touch. Kind of showing that like everything else is armored, and that's kind of like the vulnerable area, but it also adds visual interest because it's a completely different hue and it's contrasting against the cold colors. Although I'd be worried about him going any farther over the lava because this appears to be unarmored and unprotected. So it might be frying his belly a little bit there, but the color choice is really good. Really like the molten sword. That's cool. I like that a lot. Very nice. That's a, yeah, very, very nice. The Dragon Orc look epic. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I think that's everything that is currently in our completed projects and works in progress. Thank you to everybody who posted. Love seeing everybody's work. We will be doing this again next Friday. So in between now and then, if you have something you want to throw into the Discord and show off on Friday, please feel free to do that. Would love to have, would love to see your stuff posted there. Let's see. Okay, I want to take a look at the miniature game art. What did they paint on this? Because I'm seeing stuff. Obviously, rock, right? That's really straightforward. Do they have pictures of just Rainer by himself? Not pre-order. Go to shop. Product. Wow, there's nothing in their... There's nothing left in their store? Like, there's nothing listed in their store at all. What is happening? Why is there nothing in their store? Starcraft. Jim. Maybe I just want... Yeah, 404. What is going on? That's really strange because I just went directly to the link for Archon Studios for Jim Raynor and Point Defense Drone. It's a 404. And then when I tried searching for it in the on the website itself, nada. Oh, they did a different base for him there. Okay, so the box art. Okay. I wanted to see the back of the box. I want to see the back of the base. Not. Yeah, okay. Well, not getting an image of that, apparently. Pre-orders ended today. Yeah, but I wasn't on the pre-order site. There was a section for pre-orders, but there was also just the regular orders area. So maybe they haven't populated the regular orders area with like the stuff that you can just buy, and there's like a waiting period in between the pre-order section and the when you can buy stuff normally. maybe there's a waiting period that they're doing. But you'd think that they would, like, I don't know. I think they should, like, post something that says, hey, pre-orders have ended. Wait, and we'll get the regular orders stuff up as soon as we can once we've finished fulfilling pre-orders or something like that. Just some kind of indication of what's happening other than that. But I'm also probably just being unreasonable and kind of a spoiled brat. That's also entirely possible. What color do I want? I want gray. I kind of want to do like a purplish. I want to do a purplish gray for this rock just to make it look different. Hey, Jaeger, how are you doing? Hey, I think that your supposition is entirely possible, Bodacious. I think it's entirely possible, but also I'm just confused why they wouldn't. If that is the case, why wouldn't they just say, "Hey, hold on"? And maybe they did. Definitely not trying to disparage you by any means. That's not my intention. Sign off for the night. Happy painting. Hey, thanks, Leet. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Don't disparage yourself, Bodacious. You don't get to do that. Self-deprecating humor is one thing, but absolutely no reason to disparage yourself for being a concrete worker. That's kind of a big deal. It's kind of super important job, man. This is starting out very, very purple, but we're going to work more and more gray into this, just so that it's got, like, kind of not as much purple. It'll never lose all the purple. I don't want it to lose all the purple. Oh, I'm not. I know the money I make. It was an attempt at humor. Okay. What do you think about the new Perturabo miniature coming out? Did they actually announce Perturabo and show his miniature? Like, I know Perturabo is probably coming out next, and there's a lot of stuff, but did that actually get leaked, or did they actually announce it? Because I haven't seen it yet, because I just assumed that it was somebody's AI rendering and not the actual model, so I didn't look at it. Going through the website and I don't see it. Oh, I guess at the moment, unless it's confirmed, I don't really have any thoughts on any kind of rumored Peter Turbo miniature. I remember seeing some art, theoretically, like what's supposedly some art of Peter Turbo. Some new art of him in his demonic form. It looks absolutely wild. I think he looks really cool, but I didn't think that was. Pretty sure that was just art. And that can be very similar to the miniature. It can also be fairly, you know, not close enough to really know what the miniature is going to look like. But I don't know. I think it'd be really cool for him to come back. But then we need Dorn. Like, how do you have Peter Turbo and not Dorn? I'm hoping Dorn is close behind Peter Turbo if Peter Turbo comes back. Haven't seen anything from GW, but the rumor mill is heavy on Perturabo Mini. New art and lore is out. Yeah. Hopefully, well, I haven't been paying attention to rumors a whole lot. I know the new Iron Warrior models look amazing. Definitely excited to get my hands on at least a couple of them just to have some fun. I have no intention of playing 40k anytime soon, but I picked up a Red Corsair. And I want to paint him up. I've got him assembled, so I want to do the same thing with an Iron Warrior. So, you know, I am not opposed to buying more models. I should be, but I'm not. There's one Vulcan. You have to wait even longer? Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. It'll be interesting when Vulcan comes back. If eventually, I'm pretty convinced that eventually they'll all come back. Just don't know really when. I'm frankly surprised that that Logar, I'm sorry, not Logar, that Russ hasn't come back, or there hasn't been any indications of him. Although I think things just haven't become desperate enough for Rust to be for it to be considered the wolf time, and for Rust to come back yet. So I don't think things are anywhere near as desperate enough, but that also means that in order for him to come back, things have to get worse. Like, we're not seeing a slow recovery here. At best we're seeing a temporary recovery, and things get worse again, and then a temporary recovery, and things get worse again, and each time it's getting worse and worse and worse. Until it's the actual wolf time, and we really need Russ to come back, and it's time for him to come back. And I'm saying that not as the biggest fan of Russ, but in order for him to like fulfill what he was going to do, things are going to have to get a lot worse than they are now, at least in certain parts of the Imperium. Maybe Imperium Nihilus. Things get really, really, really a lot worse than they are now, or maybe Nihilus is doing okay, relatively speaking, and then the primary part of the Imperium starts getting really, really bad. Why does Chaos get all their Primarchs, but Space Marines get too? I don't know. But Chaos doesn't have all their Primarchs yet. Logar hasn't been back. My boy Logar, he's not back yet. There's a bunch of Chaos Primarchs that haven't come back yet. Dude, do you think when Logar does come back, do you think we're going to get like new Erebus minis? You think Erebus is going to come back? and Corphadron, because they're both still alive. They're both dark. You know, they're both dark apostles and leading. You know, the word bearers from their council. So we know they're both still alive in the Eye of Terror. But do you think we'll get new models for like Erebus and Corphadron? Oh my god, that'd be insane. Like I want Logar. I want Logar to come back, but I hate Erebus so much. And Corphadron's just a grumpy old bastard. Excuse my language. They both have 3 Primarchs? No, well, they have to... Yeah, they've got all the Primarchs in Horus Heresy, finally. My live stream just got restricted for harassment and bullying because I called a fictional character a bad word. Note to self, don't call fictional characters bad words. We live and we learn. Gonna pick Kibash, Lionel Johnson, and Big Blue, and have Johnson Big Blue sword. Nice. That'll be cool. I think that'll be really cool. Okay, so we got some basic colors on there. Now... where did my brown washes go? Black wash, dark crimson. No, that's not what I need. Sepia. What sepia? There we go. We cannot bully Tiny Plastic Man. That is true. That is true. So I'm gonna spray. I'm gonna hit this with some air from my airbrush. We've got this purple gray as the main color of the rocks, then we hit it with the brown wash just to get some dirtiness to it. We'll go back over with some more brown gray or purple gray in a couple areas to hit areas that are going to be, not as much covered in dirt or anything like that. And then we'll neaten that up, but we'll got to do that after the wash is dried on those upper portions. It'll still take longer for the wash to dry down in the lower areas, and that's fine. We got some grass over there, so we're gonna make sure that's nice dark green for now. some green down here on this grass. There we go. Oh, Bodich, that'd be hysterical. That'd be so funny. Okay, got that. Screen away. We've just got a couple minutes before the next break, and I want to end before the break, actually. You know what, we're just gonna call it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and call it for the night. I just got a message that one of my friends from out of town, who I haven't seen in a couple years, is here. So I'm gonna go hang out with him. I'm gonna end the stream early, but this is as far as we got. We did accomplish quite a bit tonight. We got the base started, and we got Jim almost completely done. He just needs to be put on his base. So we got the battle damage done. We got the free hand of the rattlesnake, and then we got the lights on his chest done. Everything else is pretty much done with him. And then, like I said, we got the base started. So we've got a couple more things to do on his base. There's some bullet casings. There's some roots that we need to handle, and I want to get some more color variation in the rock in certain areas. But yeah, I feel really good. And then once he's done, he's going to be sitting up there, sitting nice and pretty. I feel good about the progress we made tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I cannot dismiss the ad break, so we're going to go ahead and end here. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I very much appreciate it. We should be back on Tuesday for more stream, finishing up Jim, and then probably starting on a brand new project. It won't be Kerrigan right now. I want to switch on to something else, and then we'll come back to Kerrigan later, because there's just so much to do out of the stuff that I got at Adepticon, and I want to try and cover it all. So we'll be back on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And yeah, have a great weekend. Do the thing that keeps you sane this weekend. And until next time, remember that painting is good for the soul. Have a good night, everybody.